This is our noon broadcast, and we are on the set with a very special guest. We have Ed Boon, co-creator of Mortal Kombat. He's going to be showing us Mortal Kombat Deception. A lot of you have stopped by. We've had people coming by all day yesterday, people coming by today and telling us that it's one of the most exciting games they've seen on the show floor. So congratulations. Everyone's looking forward to it.
Thank you. We're very excited about it.
Great. And how long have you been working on it?
On this game, we've been on it about a year and a half now.
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go ahead and show us?
Oh, okay.
Actually, why don't you put your microphone a little further in front of your mouth?
Like that?
There
like
you
that?
go.
Okay.
Yep. Can you hear okay? Great. Everyone's been talking about how deep the game is and that there's a lot more. It's just incredibly well-rounded, more than they expected.
Yeah, we really, that was our goal from the beginning, was to just kind of surprise people with, what are we going to do next with the game. I think everybody expects the natural progression of enhancing the fighting engine, adding features, trying to make it, a deeper fighter experience. And we did that first. But then, since this is the second game on this generation of consoles, our goal was to really make the game do something dramatic in terms of content and actually have people go, oh, I didn't think they'd put in a board game, a puzzle game, a single-player adventure mode. Just all of that stuff kind of compiled into one. A lot of the comments we get are, you should have done the puzzle game as its own game on a Game Boy Advance or something like that. And, it's really... it's pretty exciting that they would have that kind of reaction.
Now, are these things that you've thought about doing with the MK series all along, or is this
No,
new?
Just after the last Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance did really well, and we were, you get into kind of like a sequelitis thing where, well, what are you going to do? Why are people going to want to play the new one? And we didn't feel like, just enhancing the fighting engine was enough of a reason. So we did do some really exciting things with our fighting engine in terms of like the roles that the backgrounds play. That was our big attempt, was to make the backgrounds as influential to the outcome of the fight as the characters that were chosen. And, we feel like we've really gotten that. And, our backgrounds each one is a memorable experience. You throw somebody into a meat grinder, you throw somebody off a cliff, you throw somebody off a building, and all of those are kind of combined to make the fighting experience as novel and a new experience as we can from the last game, but then go that extra mile and all the content.
It must be fun to sit around and think about new ways to throw people off buildings and things that just haven't been done before.
Yeah, when you have like 30 people on the team, every day you hear new ideas for fatalities and different things.
So all the developers really bring their personality to the game.
Oh yeah. It shows their true inner self.
Great.
Would you say that every background in the game has some sort of way to die? Like the Sky Temple, if you knock someone off twice, then they'll basically explode when they hit the bottom.
Yeah.
And spikes and stuff. Does every single background have something like that? Or?
Yes, every single one. There are positives and negatives scattered all throughout the backgrounds. I just knocked somebody off here onto the spike. Each background, we really want people to kind of have a different strategy based on what they're playing. So this background, which is that we're playing right now, it's a collapsing cliff. As you're playing the game, it's constantly shrinking. So you're really going to be paranoid about, if your back is up against the wall, because you don't know at any point in time the background may collapse and you just find yourself falling off the cliff. You could have been winning the round and all of a sudden it's over. A lot more unpredictable matches happen in this game than any of the previous Mortal Kombats.
Do you find that that's something that really, moving to a console format has really allowed you to do? It seems like that would be kind of a jip in the arcade if someone just got killed immediately.
Absolutely.
So.
We wouldn't have dared try this in the arcade, because if you had, if you're winning the round and somebody comes around, turns it off, we're going to have an option to turn off the feature if it's going to be something like in a tournament mode or something. But we definitely wanted with the consoles to do stuff that we would never have even thought of in the arcades, and that's one of the big ones. I've always really wanted to, have a dramatic change of events. Suddenly you're winning, suddenly you've lost the game.
Now you talked about a lot that you've added to this game, but what are the MK staples, in your opinion, that you really wanted to carry over?
One big thing that we've heard from the last game was everybody wanted two fatalities. Two fatalities per character. They really wanted to have more of the kind of signature Mortal Kombat stuff. And so that was the first order of business for us. We said we have to get 2 fatalities. And then we say, okay, let's go an extra step. And so we came up with this move called the Harry Carry move, where you can basically, instead of killing your opponent, you break your own neck, or you break your own leg or something, or you tear out your own heart or something insane like that.
The honorable out.
Right, exactly. And so it's we've kind of added that on top of it, and that's kind of like the whole Mortal Kombat. This game is a lot more focused on special moves. We're going to have a lot more projectiles and teleports per character than in the previous games. And in addition to that, we're trying to educate the casual gamer into some of the nuances that fighting games that some of the more sophisticated gamers take for granted, and that's like opportunities for when you dodge somebody, counters and reversals and all that. And then that's what these fight state indicators that we have on top of the power bars, they reveal kind of these windows, and we're gonna that's going to be a lot more of like the nuances that I think will bring it up to the casual gamer a little bit more clear. I think they'll get into the whole fighting mechanics a little more.
So basically, they won't have to sit there and examine frame data, go through all the weird stuff.
Exactly. Some of the stuff that is very common in our vocabulary is going to be. We're trying to introduce that to the more casual gamer who just kind of bangs on buttons and sees all that.
Right. Now I noticed Scorpion. Who are the old characters that'll return, and who are the new characters that you're talking about?
In terms of the character roster, we've really focused in on Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. All the characters that haven't had an appearance in a few games, Nightwolf, Sindel, Baraka, Melina, all of the kind of favorites. Everybody kind of has warm fuzzy feelings when they first played those characters, and we're kind of bringing them into the 3D mold, for the first time, and a lot of their signature moves from those older games are kind of translating into the newer Mortal Kombats. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very cool.
And then even like some of the characters that were in Deadly Alliance are getting some of their old moves back, right? I noticed Scorpion had the teleport punch.
Yeah, exactly. That's Sub-Zero.
A big addition.
Yeah, exactly. Sub-Zero and Scorpion, some of the moves that they didn't have in Deadly Alliance, we're bringing them all back.
Cool.
We're having the, try to any character that we're bringing back, our goal is to give them at least every single signature move from the last game, and then some.
Cool.
So tell us more about the board games.
Chess. The board game is really like our goal was just to have kind of like a higher level strategy for the game. As you start the game here, you can see you can build a team or load a team. There are different classes of pieces, just like in chess. Mm-hmm. We have our pawn, our queen, our king, the bishop, and we call them the leader, the champion, the sorcerer, the shifter, and the grunt. And so you basically say, okay, which Mortal Kombat character do I want to be my leader? I'll say it's Ermac. Which one do I want to be my champion? I'll say it's Scorpion. Nightwolf's going to be the sorcerer. Boraicho will be the shifter, and Sub-Zero will be the grunt. And then you basically play this board game, and when you try to take a square from your opponent, you play Mortal Kombat to determine who's going to take that square. There are different variables that change as you're playing the board game, where it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to have a lot more power because I was playing my queen piece against you. It's against your pawn, so you start out with half a power bar. I have a whole power bar. Oh. There are magic squares that you occupy that also enhance your ability. There are spells you can cast. I mean, it really is like this intricate board game, but with the basic mechanic of Mortal Kombat being the determining factor as to who is going to get the square.
And now you progress through the game the way you would a game of chess. The rook moves in only one direction, and so forth.
We have different moving rules, so to speak. Okay. Like some pieces can move much further, other pieces can barely move at all, and it's kind of a combination of the piece's moving ability and its fighting ability that determines its strength. You notice right here that the computer's killing one of my pieces. That's one of the moves that you can use. One of the spells that you can cast is to kill your opponent's piece. Another one is to resurrect. So I can bring up my spell list here, and I can say, okay, I'm going to resurrect the grunt piece that they just killed, and that's kind of like the counter to the killing piece.
Nice.
And it's kind of like the managing of those spells when to use them, when to save them, when to use them later, and then the final goal is being to kill your opponent's king piece, and you win the game. All these modes, the board game, the puzzle game, the fighting game, are all online, Xbox and PS2.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now, and then in the chess mode, additionally, you're kind of bringing back some of the old backgrounds, kind of in a new 3D form, right?
Exactly. Every background in the chess game is MK2 or MK1 background brought up in 3D. So you see some of your favorites, the Portal, the one with the monks. We're going to have the pit and all that stuff in on the board games as a nostalgic, and even plays the songs, the music that was playing during those games back there.
Nice. So what sort of options are you going to offer as far as online play is concerned? Did you just play against another person? Are you going to keep scoreboards and ranks and that sort of thing?
You know, I think when you first think of a fighting game and you think of the first thing you think of is tournaments.
Yep.
And I think we really wanted to, our initial goal was to get all the tournaments in, but then when we came up with all these modes of play, everybody said, you got to have the puzzle game playing online. You have to have it, and you got to have the board game playing online because everybody wants that experience. So we opted towards just getting those modes of play online, and probably, and imagine the next MK7 or something like that, we'd get the whole tournament structure going. And
cool.
This background is actually from MK1, and Baraka obviously is from Mortal Kombat 2. One of the basic mechanics we brought back that everybody's been asking for is the basic uppercut. So you have this ducking and the big power move that we had from. So a lot of like the basic mechanics we're bringing back in terms of the Mortal Kombat signature moves.
And then how about the combo structure? I know style change combos were kind of a big part of the combo system in Deadly Alliance. Are those back? Have those been expanded at all?
Yeah, you know what? We've the modification we made to Deception was really along the lines of balancing that out. If somebody had was really good with someone and had the 7, 8, 9 hit combos sequence, the victim was basically just kind of watched as he got beat up. We actually are adding breakers, basically, and the way to break out of a combo that will kind of balance the whole thing out. The mechanic won't be as heavily weighed on memorizing of combinations. You can still use those, but they won't be as dominant in terms of the final outcome of the battle.
I might actually have a fighting chance against Gersman now.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So what aspect of the game are you most excited about?
I think in general, I'm most excited about the fact that we're putting all this stuff into one game. The whole notion of making all these items. When you present the game, so you're playing the puzzle game here, it's its own menu. It has its own kind of like feel and an experience to the game. We really wanted to make it feel like you've bought 3 products, 4 products in there, and all of it is kind of comprised to make Mortal Kombat. Our goal, our long-term goal is to make Mortal Kombat not people that's just, that's a fighting game. We're going to be doing future adventure games on Mortal Kombat. We're going to be doing other fighting games, all these different kinds of classes of games, but with the name Mortal Kombat on it. That's kind of our goal, and I kind of feel like this is the first step to doing that. So people will kind of go, we have this cool puzzle game. It just happens to be Mortal Kombat.
It seems like kind of a natural progression in a lot of ways, because the Mortal Kombat series has always had such a rich mythology behind it, and the backstory's really been something that you could draw in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about just how people's they're just not expecting us to kind of do something like this with a fighting game. Everybody kind of thinks of fighting games. They add combos, they change their characters, they do that, and it's a little bit more less expected that we would do something like along the lines of this.
Yeah, well, I think everybody who's followed Mortal Kombat through the various incarnations will be really happy to see a good core Mortal Kombat game with a lot of new additions, but what they loved about it to begin with. You're really maintaining it and growing it at the same time. That's not easy. People try to do that all the time.
No, that's one of the things that we're actually most kind of proud of, is the fact that when we were doing Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2, it was kind of like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. and it was like the 2D, and I really kind of consider that as a different era. It was the 2D gameplay. It was a lot simpler. It was a lot more. I think in some ways it was a lot more accessible. And now, we're still. We're still, doing really well with Mortal Kombat, and we're in a completely different era. Now we're playing with, the Tekkens and the Virtua Fighters, and it's like I feel like that whole 2D stuff was like a different lifetime ago.
And seems like it.
It was a great experience, and I really miss the arcades and all that. But now it's just it's such a completely different animal designing these games for a console. It's not a home, or it's not an arcade experience anymore.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the new portable systems out there? It seems like there could be a rebirth of 2D. I know Capcom's planning some 2D games for the PSP and stuff like that. You ever think, maybe it might be time for an all-new MK game that's go back to 2D and revisit that sort of thing?
You know what? I was really surprised how much interest there is in the Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 in the arcade treasures. People are really freaking out about that. I'd love to see, like Mortal Kombat 2 online. I'd love in some context, I'd love to get that happening, and with the whole tournament structure and a virtual arcade online and all that. I think that would be a really exciting thing. So a lot of that stuff is really kind of giving people a lot of ideas. What can we do with, this? Because I'd love it if there was a 2D Mortal Kombat line and a 3D Mortal Kombat line, kind of each having their own direction. There are things you can do with 2D that you can't really do with 3D and vice versa.
Cool.
Now, in the puzzle combat, you have the attacks as well.
Yeah, there's a the one thing cool we've added with the puzzle game here is the introduction of super moves into the mix. I don't think people just kind of think of let me just get combos and do all that stuff like that. But now we've actually added the ability to perform a move that will actually dump crap on your opponent's puzzle or help your puzzle, and that plays into the strategy of which character are you going to actually pick. There's a real reason to pick a character, and there's a different mechanics that are involved with the different fighting styles. There's actually fatalities that happen at the end of the round.
Nice.
You shove somebody into a grinder, or they get smashed by a 1-ton boulder, or what have you. It's pretty fun seeing all that stuff happen.
We would expect nothing less.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
All right.
So will each character have their own fatality and own special move in the puzzle?
The fatalities are more like background fatalities.
Okay.
But they do have their own like special moves that you can do, and you can actually we're going to have secret button combinations to do different fatalities and all that.
Wow.
So we're going to try to hide a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
And finally, the online thing is obviously something we're really excited about. Just that whole experience of testing your skills against people that you've never met before, with Gamespot on PS2 and Xbox Live or the Xbox.
Will the PS2 version have headset support for voice chat?
Yes. Right now we really want to give that trash talking ability.
That's a
big
the
part
arcade scene being as dormant as it is, that I'm missing a lot of that lately.
Jeff's not getting enough in his daily life, so.
No.
In my daily shove people against a pinball machine.
Right, or into the grinder.
Right.
And so we're looking at October release, right?
Yes, October 2004.
Great. Well,
Very
Ed,
excited.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank
It's an
you.
honor.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Okay, everyone at home viewing this and everyone in the audience, stick around. We have more interviews coming up, more giveaways, trivia, you name it. We'll be back soon.